Hello and welcome to Gadget Joe, and today we take a look at a little system that is actually designed to watch you very closely. So in today's video we're taking a look at another PC by Logix PC Systems. Now Logix have done a lot of work with us in the past and we've featured a few of their systems. We've done a light gaming system without a graphics card, which is the 8600G AMD Ryzen series, which I will leave a link in the description down below so you can go check that out. We also did a little tiny office PC, and then now we have this one, which is a quite compact little PC, and as the rather cryptic intro of this video said, it is designed effectively so that it can monitor you very, very closely. And what I mean by that is that this is a system that can be used for home or office use, but it's also primarily focused on CCTV setup. So if you have a business and you want to set up a CCTV setup, it's quite simple to do so, but there's a whole load of different options available for you. Now what this PC does in particular is it combines the fact that you have a fully functional PC with some quite capable specs, which I'll touch upon very shortly, and then combines it with a system that can connect all CCTV setups in your business or your home, wherever you want to put it, and then display it through the computer itself, and then obviously it will store all the footage on the computer itself. Now why should you do something like that? Because obviously you can get CCTV cameras quite cheap with what you call a DVR or an NVR. Now that's a network video recorder or a digital video recorder. That's the little box that comes with a CCTV setup when you buy multiple cameras, and then you can obviously set that up with the trailing amount of wires that you have. I do have a CCTV setup in my house which obviously uses one of the DVRs, and I didn't really have the facilities to be able to dismantle that and set it up on this, so obviously for the sake of that, this is a unboxing and overview video of this product. But once you've got that little DVR, you are restricted to a few things. Now the DVR is obviously there to record all your footage onto, and it has some very basic rudimentary software on there so that you can display everything onto a display or a monitor or a TV, wherever you want to do it, and then you can often connect your phone to it so that you can access what's on there. But the limitations with that is that the software is often quite buggy, and also the timings can often be out. I've found multiple times with my setup that when I've wanted to check back on some footage, the times are all of a sudden off or thrown away, and then you're trying to look back in footage, and it's really difficult to do it with the setup that you have because you're basically trying to scroll through all of this to find what you need to see. Also, the little included DVRs often use mechanical hard drives for them. Now, a mechanical hard drive is fine, but we're in 2024 now, they are pretty much history. Now obviously you can still use them. I've still got a couple of them that I use for my setup because I record a lot of video. I have a lot of content that I store on them, but generally speaking, when it comes to read and write speeds, they are notoriously slow. Now when it comes to using CCTV, that is video recording. It's effectively just a camera pointed wherever you want it, and it's just recording, and that's it. It's pretty simple. But you want something that's nice and fast so that you can access it really quickly and there's no concerns about noise or any potential failure. And that's where this comes in. Now this is a little compact PC built by Logix, and they are absolutely fantastic at the building process when it comes to their PCs, and they've obviously taken a look of every aspect of this system and put all the components in that will work best to make the best possible outcome for a CCTV setup. Now the reason that they've done this is because recording directly to a computer itself means that you open up a whole new window of opportunity. You then get rid of that mechanical drive aspect. You've got SSDs, which are super fast, super reliable, and you are able to grab your files instantly whilst also recording in higher quality, because obviously a faster drive means that you can record in higher quality. Much like a camera that I'm using right now, I couldn't use one of the older SD cards because it just simply doesn't have a fast enough transfer rate or file rate. What's more is you can then take advantage of Windows. Now Windows is ideal because you can pretty much download anything you want. Now there are a whole host of CCTV software suites. Now these are known as VMS or video monitoring software. There's a lot of them out there. There's Ninja One, there's Atera, there's Synchro, Heimdall, XDR, There's loads of them. The options are endless. So, and all it effectively does is uses your computer to run some software to basically monitor the cameras that you have set up. With that, you can then change all the settings. You can then take advantage of the components in the PC to basically enable the best quality of footage and also really make it easy to use that software. And then the best part about it is that, especially with a system like this, because you can effectively do this with any old PC, any old laptop. So even if you've got an old laptop in your drawers, as long as it runs, you can connect cameras to it, effectively speaking. But this one has some of the higher end components so that you can really push it to a next level. Now, this one is designed effectively to run up to 16 cameras. Now, I don't see why not, but you could potentially run more than that. Some businesses, some high-end businesses will have maybe 32 cameras. There's no real limitation with a system like this. It's just more about the initial output of those cameras. So enough talking about all that. Let's focus on the product itself, because I've just spent about 5 minutes talking about what it's for. Now let's take a look at what you get. Now this is the Logix PC Cctv 4M5. Now, I will leave a link in the description as to where you can get your hands on one of these. Now, these are not quite as cheap as a standard camera setup, but you've got some added benefits of this, which I'll touch upon very shortly. Now, in the box, you get the PC system itself, which is a rather nice compact Antec VSK10 case. Now, it's not a tempered glass panel. You can get this case with a windowed panel, but you don't really need it because this is primarily focused on business use or obviously home security use, and you don't really need a fancy looking PC. But with that said, it still looks absolutely fantastic. You've got a really nice modern looking case so that it will look nice when you have it set up on your desk or wherever you want to put it in your business. You do also get a bag, which is pretty much usual Logix styling. You've got some accessories in here, including some extra rear I/O shields. You do have some additional screws for mounting extra hard drives in there if you need to, or alternatively some coolers, and you do also have some dust caps for any unused USB selectors. You do also get 2 SATA cables included. You then get a couple of little stickers, and then you get some information. Now this is basically warranty cards and quick start guides for some of the components that are in there. Now obviously this is a system that is built with the integrators over at Logix PCs. So what they do is they basically get a bare bones PC. They will then look at all the components needed for whatever the intended use is, and then they will go through everything and meticulously pick out the best options out of all the available hardware. And they've done exactly the same with this. So it does feature little hardware guides for Antec, Gigabyte, Intel, and so on. Now in a short while, I'm going to basically change the camera view and we're going to look at exactly what you get inside here. And we're going to look at the build quality of it, and we're going to show you some of the components to see exactly how they work for what you need. And then after that, we're going to do a quick little conclusion about the system and what I think of it overall. And then that's pretty much it. So for the meanwhile, we're going to take a quick look at the system. Obviously, it is nice and compact. As you see, it's quite lightweight as well. The whole thing comes in at about 6.9 kilograms, so it's quite light and compact. Obviously, it is nice and small. It comes in at 400 millimeters by 405 millimeters, and then 205 millimeters thick. So it is a nice, compact little unit. And as I mentioned before, the Antec case does feature some nice brushed aluminium effect on the top. So it does look quite nice. So even if you did have it in a home setup or on your main desk at work, it will look quite nice on there. Now in terms of ventilation for a setup like this, it doesn't look like there's a great deal because it is effectively a closed box. But you do have this front panel here, which allows air in there, and then you've got it on the sides, on both sides, and then you have some on the top as well. And along the bottom, there is also a place here. And on the underside, you do have another exhaust point for the included power supply. Now, before we open this up, it is a very capable little system. Now, I know you're all probably waiting for me to tell you what the specs are. Now, this is a system that is quite well endowed. Actually, considering the fact that it is designed for CCTV and business use, it actually utilizes a lot of the hardware that I actually used for a long time to edit all my videos on. It's got the same processor. It's an i5-12400 6-core 12-thread processor in there. So you've got the latest Intel hardware in there, and obviously then you've got an RTX 3050 in there as well. So you've got a really capable graphics card. It's a 6GB model, and then you have 16GB of DDR4 memory. You also have a 500GB NVMe SSD drive and then a 500-watt power supply. Once opened, you can see the system itself is very well assembled. It does feature some real high-end components as discussed earlier. The beauty of this setup is that it is perfectly suited to function as a standalone business and personal computer setup alongside the intended CCTV usage. You do have that i5 12400 6-core 12-thread CPU running at 2.5 GHz, which can be boosted to 4.4 GHz when you need it. It's cooled by an Intel laminar stock cooler, which should more than suffice for the intended use of this system. You then get some Kingston Fury DDR4 module RAM, 16GB in total, formed by two 8GB sticks. If you did want to upgrade this in the very near future, you can also do that, and this board will take up to 64GB in total. Speaking of motherboards, we have a Gigabyte H610M S2H V2 unit here, which is a micro ATX board, making it super compact, but with enough features to power everything we need. What's interesting here is that this board utilises the latest LGA 1700 socket for the processors, but runs on DDR4 memory. This allows for keeping costs down over the slightly more expensive DDR5 memory modules. We then have the graphics card, and this is the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 3050 Eagle OC unit, a very capable little GPU with 6GB GDDR6 96-bit memory on board. For a CCTV system, this could seem very much an overkill addition, but this does mean that this system can now ultimately support up to 16 cameras with up to 8K support. Now, I know most people won't have 8K monitors, but this does mean that you can run some really high definition, high quality cameras on this to ensure the best possible CCTV footage to protect your business or home. Just above the GPU, we will see the included storage in the form of a Kingston 500GB NVMe SSD drive. It's a Gen 4 SSD that will allow for super fast data transfer, ideal for recording footage from your setup. Most standard CCTV setups will take use of mechanical hard drives for storing their footage, which is slow and prone to damage. With this setup, you are able to record and access your footage quickly and reliably. There are an additional 4 SATA 6GB ports to the right too, so if you want to upgrade your storage, you can do so quickly and easily. This is all powered by a Cronus 500-watt 80+ bronze rated power supply. Moving to the rear of the case, we see the motherboard and graphics card I/O, starting with 2 PS2 connectors, a DVI and a D-sub, or more commonly known as a VGA port. Then you have a HDMI and display port. Underneath that, you get 2 USB 2 ports. Then you get 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports with 5GB capability, another 2 USB 2 ports, and a further Gigabyte LAN port. You then obviously have the audio header panel. The GPU itself features 2 display ports and 2 HDMI ports for connecting monitors up to 8K resolution. On the top of the Antec case as well, you also get a headset and mic input with a reset switch and a power switch. You then get 2 USB 3 headers as well, so that you can connect more to the front of the case. If you did want to upgrade any parts of your system as well, you do have space for additional fans at the top and the front of the case, so that you can provide more cooling for the setup. It does have support for up to a 280mm radiator and fans on the top, and obviously on the front you have support for up to a 360mm radiator or 3 120mm fans. And that pretty much wraps up this video of the Logix CCTV 4M5 system. Again, it's not really a review effectively. I've not really needed to power this on. You all know how a computer works. It's basically running Windows 11 Pro, which is ideal for business. It does come with all the hardware and software that you need. All you have to do is then plug it in, register everything you need to your own personal setup. You do have a Windows code on the top so that you can activate the license if you need to. And then all you need to do is choose your preferred VMS, video monitoring software, to run on this setup. Then all you need to do is connect everything to it. Now, when it comes to connecting the cameras in general, that is where it gets quite interesting. There are multiple options. Now, the VMS software that you have can be cloud-based. Now, a lot of standard CCTV setups that you buy come with that DVR box, as I mentioned earlier, and that can be connected to the internet, and then you can access it on your phone or anywhere else. You can alternatively run the software on this PC and then access through the cloud server system. And that's all great. You can run everything you need through that. You're then going to be limited to the limitations of the said DVR box, because all you're doing is effectively streaming everything from that via an internet connection. You're not going to get that high quality, high speed data transfer that you can take advantage from with this NVMe drive. The ideal setup for something like this is utilizing LAN setups, local area networking. What you have to do is take the DVR that you have for the existing cameras, or alternatively, if you don't have that, you can get the cameras, and they do often have a LAN port on the cameras, especially on a lot of the newer systems, and it basically effectively helps to eliminate wire run. So all you have to do is connect the cameras to some form of device, whether it be a network switch or alternatively the DVR that we mentioned before. You then take that and then put the hardwire connection through Ethernet into the Ethernet port on here. Now that will allow you to access everything through that cable to the DVR or to the switch or to the cameras directly. And in that way, you don't have to have any internet whatsoever, because it's all running through your local area network. So you can then access all of your cameras footage onto your system, because you can then connect it to all those devices, and that just effectively makes them a gateway for your PC. So your PC can then access the camera details. You can run your chosen video monitoring software, and then you can access all your cameras on that. Then you can change everything like resolution, recording quality, and obviously where you want it to record, how long you want to record, and then how many cameras you want to have set up. Now the advantage of that is that it's going to be super snappy on this setup. Everything will run just like that thanks to the NVMe drive and obviously that 6-core 12-thread CPU and the very capable 3050. What I will mention is that even though this is primarily designed and focused towards CCTV, it is still a very capable PC in general. You can actually run pretty much anything you want to throw at this. So if you do have it in a home setup, you can use it as your personal computer as well. It will run all your software that you need to run, whether it comes to office work, or obviously if you are running it as a business, you can do all your spreadsheets and accounting and any other software that you'd like to run from this. Another sneaky little thing as well is that the RTX3050 and the 6-core processor is very good for gaming. You're not going to get really top spec performance out of this, but you are going to be able to game. So if you do have it running for your CCTV, you can do that, and then while it's doing that, you can actually do a little bit of gaming on this as well. So it is a very capable system. Would I choose something like this? Now, me personally, I probably wouldn't. And that's not because I disagree with any of the product itself or the pricing or anything like that. It's just because I simply only use 3 cameras. And I don't really need to utilize that because I'm just running my home setup. If I was a small business or a larger business, I would probably definitely look at something like this, because you can, as I've mentioned, use it as your personal computer as well. Or alternatively, you can just set it up, leave it in the corner somewhere, have a monitor set up, and you can monitor everything you need to monitor. Now, another key thing about this setup, which I've failed to mention, is that that graphics card has 4 outputs on there. That means that you can effectively run up to 8K of resolution, or alternatively, you can run up to 4 monitors. So you can have the monitor on your desk where you've got this set up. You can then also have another monitor running to the front of your business. If you have a shop, you can have the access on another monitor as well. And obviously you can do it on multiple monitors. But the advantage of that is that you can see it in different rooms. Currently with the DVR that I've got, I can only really see it all the time on one little monitor that's next to the DVR because I only have one display output. You can access it through the apps on your phone, but you're going right back to where the issues are of limitations of speed and obviously reliability. And also, with it being a server-based, cloud-based setup, you often find that you can be compromising your security. If you've got your CCTV cameras set up via an online server, that effectively, unless you've got a really strong secure connection or a really well encrypted device, DVR, which a lot of the DVRs that come included with the cameras are not very well encrypted, people can access that. So if you've got some sensitive documents or some sensitive parts of your business you don't want people to see, then maybe a cloud-based, server-based setup is not ideal for you. This one can run with no internet at all, via that LAN connectivity. Now obviously you can run an IPS software on there so that you can access it through the cloud system, but an ideal setup for this would just be LAN connectivity straight to the DVR or the switch, straight to your cameras. There's an ultimate amount of security because there's no external access. The only people that can access that footage is you with this device. So whilst it's not for everybody, it is definitely a very, very viable product, and it's pretty much an easy product to recommend. So this is effectively a product that is primarily aimed at business users. It just makes sense. It's a perfect setup for everything, including security, speed, reliability, and the ability to use the actual PC for other functions as well. It could effectively replace your work system, and the fact that you can expand the storage on there with those additional 4 SATA ports really makes it a bit of an endless opportunity in terms of storing the amount of data that you need to store. Now a 500 gigabyte NVMe drive will store quite a lot of footage, but you're going to find that you are limited the more cameras you have. So if you did have a big 16 camera setup in your business, I would strongly recommend, if you're getting a system like this, to invest heavily in some additional storage. Now again, if you're wanting to use mechanical drives, there's nothing to stop you doing that because you can get large drives for very little money. But if you're willing to get a system like this and you really want to protect your business, paying that little bit extra for a larger SSD really will just pay for itself anyway. And that's pretty much it. Again, quite a lengthy unboxing and overview video, but it's quite a difficult one to talk about. It's not my usual sort of hardware that I get in. Obviously, it's a very capable PC. And the design specification for it, being primarily focused for CCTV, makes it a very compelling offering. It is a little bit on the pricey side for a CCTV monitoring hardware, but the fact that you're getting the components that you do more than makes up for that price point, because you are effectively getting a full PC for that price point with the additional options of some security for your business. So as usual, I will leave a link in the description down below as to where you can get your hands on one of these. I will also leave a link to the Logix PC website, which I think currently is under construction, but you should be able to contact them if you did want a system building, because they do build custom PCs as well. So if you wanted something like this but you don't really want to spend the money on some of the higher end components, they do some offerings, and obviously you could just give them a message and they will build something for what you need. So that's been pretty much it for my unboxing and overview of this video. Again, quite a lengthy one, but a very, very capable product. Definitely something I would recommend for a business user. So if you do have a small, medium or large business and you're wanting to set everything up and make it super secure, this is a no-brainer. A very capable device, very compact device, very stylish device, and overall a very good offering. So another thumbs up from me at Gadget Joe, a very unique niche offering, but a very capable one nonetheless. And that's pretty much it. So I've been Gadget Joe. This has been the Logix CCTV 4M5 PC. And until next time, goodbye.